Things that happen in our lives are a product of the choices that we make on a daily basis. And regardless of whatever we do, we are actually making choices, whether consciously or subconsciously. Unfortunately, most people go through their lives on autopilot mode. Most of the choices they make are subconscious, which is super dangerous because it leads us to pick whatever is the most pleasurable and not what is most important for us. This leads us into cultivating habits which are mostly bad and self-destructive, such as addiction to social media, video games, and junk food. These bad habits, while fun in the short term, worsen us by deteriorating our health, both mental and physical, in the long term. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. Back in high school, I did what most rebellious young guys did at the age would do. I wouldn't take studies seriously. I would go social media and play video games whenever I wanted to because it was fun and addictive. Basically, I did just whatever I felt like doing. And what I felt like doing was usually most of the time instant gratification activities, which were fun in the short term but destructive in the long term. I wasn't stupid. I knew it was bad for me. There were obvious problems coming up from these bad habits, which I too had noticed, such as plummeting grades and worsening mental health. I would then feel bad about these problems, and in order to cope with it, I would continue doing more instant gratification activities to feel better. This was a vicious downhill cycle which would continue on and on until I hit my lowest point at 14 years old. Fortunately, I was introduced to the gym by my best friend when I was 15, where he recommended me to start improving my physique. You see, back then I had a really chubby and terrible physique. At first, I had a huge doubt whether improving my physique would even make a difference in my life, which seemed so dark and gloomy at the time. Nevertheless, I still joined him in the gym because I literally had nothing else to do besides playing video games all day. So I thought, might as well give it a shot. That day marked the turning point in my life forever, which taught me so many valuable lessons which still apply to my life today. First of all, the gym introduced me to the concept of instant gratification versus delayed gratification, and how we are normally inclined to follow whatever feels good to us immediately. I learned that all the bad habits I was doing at the time were instant gratification activities, and that if I wanted to improve the state of my life I was in, I had to desperately remove them from my life as quickly as possible. I couldn't bear with dealing with this shitty situation any longer. So what I did to remove my bad habit was to first identify which of the things I was doing in my life that could be categorized as the bad habit, and exactly how much were these bad habits impacting my life on the macro and the micro level. As shocking as it may sound, tiny things we do in our life, such as not making our bed, can lead to disastrous consequences for the day. At the time, I identified the biggest bad habit was my addiction with video games and social media. Both of these was sapping up so much of my time, which caused me not enough time to do other productive things such as study. After identifying the main things that were causing my problem, I tried to make these bad habits less obvious and as obscure as possible. What I did was I tried to hide my game applications in a folder so they wouldn't be the first thing I saw when I turned on my phone or my laptop. To come to think about it, I probably should have deleted them in the first place for it to be more effective anyway. Explains why it took me years before I finally quit this addiction of mine. Afterwards, I would also add a password protection on this application that I wanted to avoid. This password protection worked in a way such as whenever I wanted to play it, I would to first have to key in the password which I gave to my parents, and whenever I wanted to play, I had to first ask my parents for them to give me the password. Well, they would usually give me the password, but it made the process so much more troublesome. Initially, there wasn't actually much difference in the amount of video games I played a day. No matter how much I tried to stop myself, my addiction would keep coming back. Over time, however, there would be times when I wouldn't play video games just because I was too lazy to ask my parents for the password. Moreover, since the games would usually be hidden deep in one of the folders, I would usually forget about them sometimes, especially when I was busy. While this process took many years to accomplish, it finally worked and I eventually quit video games early this year. It really is the small aggregation of marginal gains which eventually lead to the large final event or outcome. Come to think about it, this all happened before I actually read Atomic Habits on how I could make new habits and destroy old habits. The reason why my strategy worked, albeit it taking a long time, is because I had take 2 out of the 4 inversion of the laws of behavior change, which were make it invisible by hiding the game deep in the folders, 2, make it difficult, which I did by setting a password protection. After I read Atomic Habits, I eventually started using the 4 inversion of the law of behavior change to remove all the remaining bad habits in my life quickly. For example, I destroyed the bad habit of mindlessly scrolling social media and binge watching YouTube videos by first deleting the apps, then making sure whenever I cheated by re-downloading these apps, I will give myself a sort of punishment by doing something I didn't like to do, such as maybe extra house chores. Therefore, I really attribute most of my success in removing my bad habits to the book Atomic Habits, which I really suggest you checking out, and I believe it is a must read for anybody who is just starting out in their self-improvement journey, and the habits you do every day are really the thing that determine your success or your failure. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button and smash the subscribe button if you want to watch more from my small self-improvement and fitness YouTube, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.